Welcome to CPR for the Horse and Rider, training you to train your horse. On this DVD, we will be working on collection and establishing the box. Let's get started.
Well, here we have W.A. Rocket Man. He's a 5-year-old stallion that we're going to be using for this demonstration. We're going to get into bidding with 2 reins, an indirect and a direct rein, sort of like we did previously, but this is, we'll get a little more into getting them to collect off of it, how to get softer, give to their nose, plus finding that box area that we've been talking about, getting that box to get smaller and smaller and letting them figure it out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start out long lining him a little bit. He's right to the snaffle, still that same snaffle we've been using. I want him to start understanding the pressure off of both sides of his mouth straight ahead before I go to bidding. Now, we've been riding these horses and getting them used to all of these things through this process, okay? So I'm pretty sure, I mean, he understands this, so we can show you. But as you do this with most horses, if you've been riding them a lot and you've been bidding, he is going to get to where he understands it. So when you get to this process, you should be pretty safe. But we are still going to take precautions, because you never know when a horse will take and hit the bit or the bridle and run backwards, maybe fall down. So we try to take all those precautions to where that doesn't happen, okay? So let's get started with him. We set our long lines up like we did before. We're running them straight through the bit. I'm coming from the outside in through the ring. And I'm hooking him right here to the girth area right there, okay? We're going to let this rein drop over his butt for right now. We'll ask him to go for it. Now you can see, with all the desensitizing we've done with this whip, he's really not paying attention. It doesn't really bother him, which that's a good thing. So then I can just have to be a little more aggressive with it. Get up. Get up. See, he knows his job here. There. Let's get him out of park here. We want him to go forward. But as you've went through this bidding exercise and they understand this whip, you can see he's not at all really worried about it, and that's what I want. But I want him to understand how to go forward there. Every now and then you'll have a situation like that where they'll get stuck, and you might have to be a little more aggressive with it to get him to go forward. Try it, try it. But what I'm looking for here, we've long lined these horses some. You know, if you've watched the other parts, you're going to sit here and you're going to have long lined your horse, worked with that on occasion. So look at the difference we're getting as he gets further through this. So he's understanding how to give to both sides of his mouth, off the corners of that snaffle. And you can also see how he's starting to find his head placement. We're starting to find that box. The reins are loose, but he's just going along. We're starting to individualize and see where these horses look their best as they're going forward. This is a good way that I can judge that as he's going forward to see what's the best head placement for him to be, whether I want him to carry his head a little lower or if I want him to carry his head a little higher. So we're just going to do this just enough to warm him up before we start bidding. We'll ask him to canter here. Good. I just want him to go forward. I want him to know he can go forward to that bit. I'm not looking for a lot of slow, collected loping around with this draw rein. Further down the road, as I ride him more and I get him more advanced on what I want, then I could come in here and I want him to really get slow with this and understand how to back off the pressure. Whoa, whoa. Understand how to back off the pressure and go slower. But right now I just want him to go forward, because when we're bidding, we want him to know to go up into that bridle, meet that bridle, and come off of it. You can see I have a tail bag on him here. I call it a tail bag right here. On some of the horses I get ready to start showing them, I use these so you have an idea, and I can braid up his tail, put it down in here, and get a nice long flowing tail on him when I get ready to show. Some of these horses' tails will drag the ground a couple feet, so that they don't break off in the stall, I can keep them long and looking real nice.